What's up everybody, it's Sean here, back today to give you a review of the Patta collaboration with Nike on the Air Max 90 SP from the Waves collection in the Sapphire colorway. So this shoe is part of the much anticipated sequel Waves collection between Patta and Nike, following up on the very successful 2021 Air Max 1 Waves collection, which was definitely one of my favorite releases of that year. So these Air Max 90s is given that same wavy mudguard treatment, and this Sapphire pair released alongside a Cyber colorway, both pairs releasing back in June, and then following up these two pairs, there was another two colorways, one that was more black based and one that was more cream or off-white based, resulting in a total of 4 colorways of the Air Max 90s. So these retailed for $155 US or $190 here in Canada, which honestly is really not that bad, especially when you compare it to the prices you're paying for some of the other pairs on the market, which are easily over $200 USD. So getting a shoe for $155 US really seems decent. So while this is called the Sapphire colorway, because of its use of these purple blue tones, the official colorway for the shoe is actually particle gray, neutral gray, sapphire, white, coconut milk, and black. And these were only available here in Canada at select boutiques as well as on our Nike website. But generally speaking, it was a pretty limited release, it seemed like. But generally speaking, it seemed like it was a decently limited release. So first things first, here's a quick look at the box. So this comes in a silver or gray based cardboard box. We have Patta and Nike co-branding on the top lid. And then here's a look at all the different sides. So as you can see, it has this kind of all over print finish to it. And it's great to see that they gave us a special edition box for this special edition sneaker. And inside the box, the paper is also specially printed too, so this was a nice added touch. So as for the shoe itself, jumping right into it, this is your classic Air Max 90 silhouette, but there are some unique features on this shoe which makes it stand out. So the base layer of this shoe is crafted out of this gray colored mesh, and then overlaid on top of this gray layer here which looks like leather. I'm pretty sure this is a synthetic leather. When you look at the cross section, you don't see actual genuine leather fibers, and it has this artificial or simulated texture to it. Covering the bottom 3 eyelets, we have this purplish blue colored TPU, and then the top 3 eyelets, this is covered in the same material but this time in black. On the quarter panel, we have more of that synthetic gray colored leather, and then overlaid on top of this, we have a shiny darker gray colored swoosh. Underneath this is where the mudguard is, and it's given this wavy treatment. And the material, again, this is some sort of synthetic material. If you look real close, it has a very fine horizontal texture to it, and it almost feels like some sort of plastic to the touch. Towards the heel of the shoe, we have this cutaway exposing this lenticular Air Max and Patta branding. So depending on the angle that you're looking at it in, it changes from Air Max to Patta, which I thought was really, really dope. Above this, surrounding the top portion of the ankle collar area, we have more of that tightly wound gray colored mesh. And then on the center of the heel, we have this large TPU overlay with Nike Air branding in black. As far as the laces go, this pair comes with 2 different lace options. The standard lace and the one that I think looks the best are these cream colored flat laces, but they also come with a gray colored lace if you want to give the shoe a little bit more of a subdued look. Underneath this, the tongue is crafted in what feels like a synthetic suede almost. It has a very subtle perforated finish to it. And then on the top, stitched on, we have this Patta Air Max tag done in a mix of white and that sapphire color. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in this off-white colored liner. And then for the insoles, these come with their typical foam-lined Air Max 90 insoles. However, they do feature Patta branding on them, which was really nice to see. So the upper of the Air Max 90, as usual, it sits atop a polyurethane foam midsole, and this midsole is painted in this vintage looking off-white color on the forefoot and the back of the heel, and then the wedge on the heel is painted in this sapphire color. Encapsulated within this midsole, we have Nike Air technology, both underneath the forefoot, which is not visible, but we have this large visible air unit on the heel. And then turning the shoe over to the bottom, so this is your typical Air Max 90 outsole, and it's constructed out of a mix of sapphire and black colored rubber. We have this waffle style traction pattern and Nike branding right on the medial edge. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, to me these fit pretty true to size, so I feel like for most people, go with your normal Nike size and it should fit you fine. In my case, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I got these in a size 10 and they fit me pretty comfortably. No problems at all, no pressure points, so even though my feet are a little bit wider, it accommodated my feet perfectly fine. Moving on to the comfort, so these feel like your typical Air Max 90, which is going to be okay for an everyday casual use sort of sneaker. Considering this is a sneaker with technology from the 80s, it feels fine. It's not going to be extremely comfortable or anything like that. You can feel some level of squishiness underneath the heel, but for the most part, it has a relatively firm feel underfoot. So I've definitely felt more comfortable Air Max 90s that Nike has made in the past. It just seems like the comfort on Air Max 90s seems to fluctuate depending on the release. For example, like the Off-White Air Max 90s, those ones are super hard underfoot, whereas something like the remastered Air Max 90, I think that was what they called it, from a few years back where they dropped a whole rainbow of colors, those ones just felt a little bit softer underfoot than these. But again, for just a casual use sneaker, these are going to be okay. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so this is where I was the most disappointed about this shoe, but I guess it kind of makes sense considering the lower price point on this sneaker. The materials really were not impressive. Everything just really felt synthetic, which I guess isn't too unusual considering how the OG Air Max 90s were built, but I was expecting something a bit better considering this is supposed to be more of a limited collaboration. Unfortunately, Nike didn't deliver that. These have a pretty cheap feel in hand, and I thought the build of the shoe was nothing special either. The paint job on the midsole definitely could have been better done, and there's a lot of strings of glue all over the upper, so I've definitely seen better work from the Nike factories, and that combined with the subpar materials left me kind of disappointed. So with all of that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. All in all, from an execution standpoint, I wasn't mad about this release. I think while it looks better on the Air Max 1, this whole wavy mudguard concept still worked decently well on this Air Max 90. This colorway I thought was definitely the best of the four. I wasn't a big fan of that cyber colorway, and the other two just didn't really strike my interest. This one though I thought worked really well. I love the shade of this purplish blue color, and I think it works really well with the gray, the cream, and the black tones. It's unfortunate though that the quality on the shoe wasn't the best, but I think if you're able to grab these for retail, this is a solid add to your collection. I just wouldn't pay over retail for a pair like this, but that's just me speaking. You can definitely vote with your own wallet. So let me know in the comment section down below. Did you grab these? And if you did you just pay retail price for these? Or did you have to pick these up on the secondary market? And for those that have these in hand, what are your thoughts on this pair? What are your thoughts on the quality? Were you happy with it? Was it kind of a surprise that it was kind of on the poorer side? However you feel, drop your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, as usual, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on my social media accounts, which are linked down below. And until next time, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next review.